So a little bit of context. Last night, I logged back into the server. Okay, there's a whole thing, right? So pretty much Nino believes through deduction that the Faceless is able to like tap into phone calls, right? Whether that's true or not is like unknown, right? But the reason Nino thinks that is because he thinks that because when CJ called Nino, Nino was in the boat and he said, come down to the boat dock. And then shortly thereafterwards, there was a plane and the Faceless, or not a plane, there was like a plane or a helicopter. I don't actually remember which of the two. So she spotted it. And then the Faceless later was like, did you notice the plane? And so that connection right there is, well, they heard the call. They knew the location. They sent a plane. You know what I mean? So I think that's like a pretty, you know, that's a connection there. So anyways, so yesterday, Nino's like literally spent like fucking 2 hours like, okay, well, how the fuck do we make contact without tipping them off? As soon as we started talking about that, oh, second reference. At the end of the Faceless meeting where Nino confronted the Faceless, the last thing, and in that meeting, the statement was, we don't plan to hurt him, at least not yet. And they also stated that they shot him intentionally. Oh my God, wait a minute. There was more to that conversation. Bro, why did that conversation happen when I was like 16 hours into stream? Holy fuck, I just remembered. Chat, I don't even know how much of this you heard because a lot of it was meta-guarded. But there's only one piece of info that's meta-guarded, which I'm not going to mention. But I just fucking remembered. They said that... Okay, hold on. Holy fuck. Holy shit. I'm so glad we're talking about it this morning. I would have totally fucking forgotten. When Lang was set into prison. Okay, I don't know if this was it meta-guarded about the shotgun to the leg? Wait, you guys heard that? That bit was muted? Okay. So Nino asked the Faceless, do you intend to hurt him? And they said, no. That, oh my fucking God, bro. God damn it. This makes it so good because I genuinely fucking don't remember this entire thing. Okay, hold on. And I'm waking up in a bit. I'm like fucking cooked this morning. Hold on. Holy shit. Okay. I'm not gonna look at chat because I'm gonna get ADHD here. All right. Okay. Nino asked the Faceless, like, you're obviously, like, he called out, you got Barrick in there, which works for you. You got Edgar in there, that works for you. That's not a coincidence. And I need to know, are you planning to hurt him? And the Faceless said no. And sort of implied that if they wanted to kill him, they could. And that, but he said it in a roundabout way. Specifically because this is the bit that got very confusing, and I don't know enough about this to make sense of it. Like it's got too much missing context. But what he said was that he admitted that Michael Colby, oh yeah, also Nino pointed that out too, about Michael Colby. He's an asset. You tried to, and Nino sort of implied, you tried to kill him in prison. And now he's surrounded by two people that work for you directly. And I know this. I know Nino knows this because the Faceless pretty much fucking told him. They told him like weeks ago that they have an asset in the DOJ, and then as like, you know, the dominoes fell, it became very obvious who that asset is, which is Barrick Johnson. And the Faceless straight up admitted that Barrick, like, you know, Faceless, you may not have straight admitted it, but he admitted it when Nino's like, you got two of your people in there, and he didn't like deny it, you know? And so the implication being like, listen, you tried to shoot him in prison. Now you got two fucking assets in there. What the fuck is going on? And he said that if we wanted to kill him, we would have. But he was in danger in there. He was in danger. And so they intentionally had Matthew Colby, and not by Matthew Colby, but by somebody else. And that Matthew Colby was instructed to shoot him in the leg so that he would be taken out of there and brought to the house for safety. Now, Nino doesn't buy that necessarily, right? Because the thing is, Matthew Colby did not shoot him like, and so this is, so the reason I bring this up is I completely forgot about that part of the conversation. Now, keep in mind, just because the Faceless says that doesn't mean it actually is true, right? It could be as simple as Matthew Colby missed and shot him in the leg with the intention to kill. And because it only shot up his leg, and didn't end him, the Faceless is using that fact as a way to like garner trust, right? Or get Nino to like not question it. Okay, I need my vehicle so we can go back up north. Let me just take something else out. I'm like AC/DC while simultaneously. Let me just, you know what? Let's just get a rental and I'll just get my car that way. Yeah, we'll do that because the meeting's supposed to be in about 20 minutes. Anyways, after that confrontation, you know, the Faceless asked him, like, why do you care? And Nino told him. And so the Faceless knows that, just straight up, knows that, you know, Nino's not going to want him hurt, which makes things kind of interesting. Now, the question kind of comes down to, does Nino believe the Faceless in all this? And this is where
you need a ride, Mayor?
I do, yeah. Down to the rental spot, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm going all right. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Is this Apple?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Just, you know, being a thug.
Christo, thank you for the 23 months. Hold on, we'll keep cooking in a second.
Are you going to be running again or no?
Nah, I can't, like, I can't do it to myself. I think I'm going to do more damage as, with my law firm. Yep.
Wait, against like who? The PD or like just people in general?
It's kind of like I'm gonna be able to focus on like legislation, representation in the cells, like bench trials, all that kind of shit, and you know, build up more lawyers to help people. And so,
okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
I want to focus more on that rather than like, you know, just know that a mayor has to listen to a lot of shit that they have no control over. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
hell yeah.
that was I forgot who ran for mayor like back in the day. It was, I got explained to that it's basically like people yell at you for something and then you try to change it, but you can't really change it at all, so they blame you either way.
Well, we were supposed to be able to change it, but the DOJ just hard like ignored it. They consistently ignore the law, and they know they can get away with it because in order for them to be held accountable, the governor's got to fly in, and like you know that shit's not gonna happen. So like it will, but like it's like a rare thing. So it's kind of like
it's like a once in a while thing, never like consistent.
Exactly that. It's just,
is it like DOJ act until
they're literally, brother, there's only one act of justice. The rest of them, some of them haven't even clocked in all, for 3 months.
Jesus fuck.
Mm-hmm. So
good luck with your law firm, all right?
Hey, I appreciate it. You take care.
Take care.
Okay, let's keep going. So the inference was that there was a danger within the prison and that their intention was to keep him alive. Hence Matthew Colby's shooting him in the legs. By the way, chat, I should be very clear here, and this is like important for you guys to know, because I know some of you guys are like 10 tabs open type shit. If I don't know something, don't like mention it or encourage it in chat. Because if I don't know something in RP, I have to make my character know based on what I know. You know what I mean? And if Nino gets things wrong, that's good RP too. Otherwise, you're just like setting yourself up to like speedrun decisions. Because bad information and non-optimal like shit is still RP. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's kind of why Nino put his guard down. At the end of that conversation, like I said, there's something else that I can't mention. But maybe I can mention it. Hold on. Okay. Ultimately, Nino kind of put his guard down after that. And having put his guard down, because the thing is, like, the story makes sense, right? But it's still sussy. And that's kind of where Nino is at with it, is like, but then when you ask about the crash out is because after that meeting, the moment the tweet went out about waves, Nino and on top of that, Barrett, Nino crashed out. Oh, as we were leaving the meeting, God, I'm forgetting why I said, let me give you context, and then I went on a 30-minute yap session. To be fair, I remembered shit from that conversation that I didn't previously even fucking remember and register. Is like, I want you to think for a second that Nino is walking away from this meeting thinking, okay, cool. They're telling me all this. They're, you know, this makes sense, right? Because remember, Nino's thought is they're either watching him to protect him or they're watching him to hurt him. You're not, there's like really no other option there, right? And so walking away, it was like, oh, they're watching over him to protect him. They made sure Barrett wasn't in the area, right? Charlie made sure of that. Charlie shows up to look where those photographs were taken. Heretic, thank you for the 13 months. And then CJ calls Nino, and all of a sudden, in the middle of like Nino crashing out about these marshals, Faceless tweets waves, implying that, which they didn't actually tweet waves. They tweeted like Operation Sky fucking some shit. But either way, it wouldn't have mattered because either way, Nino would have crashed out. And so now he's like crashing out about Barrett, crashing out about fucking, you know, whatever. And now it's just like, what the fuck is happening? But at the end of the Faceless conversation, he mentioned something about being cautious of the Oracle. Last night when we get around to be like, how do we send this out? All of a sudden the Oracle tweets Kiflom, right? And so for Nino, he's like, okay, well, there's some entity saying be careful of him, da 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 da. And then all of a sudden this happens. Like right in the middle of this thought process. So we go, Nino's like, okay, we need to go and like, go check this place out. We drive by here and there's two people on the rooftop. We recognize one of them, but then there's this other person. This one you can, I know, obviously from the hair color to the brain, but then there's this guy. Oh shit. Fuck. Oh, we're going. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. So now it's kind of like, all right. The thing is, and I think what makes this exciting is that who fucking knows what the fuck is actually happening? And I think that's what makes this all interesting. Who the fuck really knows? Nobody does. Yeah, full down the rabbit hole, right? There's so many different factions and everyone seems sus. Exactly. Also, I should mention that it's not the first time Nino has noticed Oracle tweets, but the last set of Oracle tweets was literally months ago. I don't even necessarily think everything is starting to merge. We don't even know if they're related, right? So when you think of like an oracle is like someone who predicts, somebody who like knows the future or attempts to know the future. And that's why Nino called the Keflon people and under with a voice changer and was like, hey, you know, like, I'm thinking of joining and, you know, do you have code names? And, I want mine to be like Lotus. The thing is, it doesn't mean that there's a relationship either, right? All right, finally, we're back over here. Let's take a look at how this is. I think I'm going to suggest to Wayne that, like, this is kind of cool, but, like, impractical, right? It's a cool, like, it looks good, but it's kind of impractical. Maybe instead, or maybe that remains, like, there's kind of, like, brown couches. So this is more of, like, a loungy leather congregation area. I really like what he's doing with this. It's such a vibe, like the colors and shit. Like it's really coming together. I wonder also maybe for him to consider, wait, isn't this like an actual functioning window? If there'd be a way to get the window to actually work. I think there is. Yeah, this window right here. Like to have that utilized. Maybe, I don't know if it's possible. It might be too difficult. But Wayne Freeman is. Yeah. Well, nothing is certain. Not a single thing is actually certain. Because it like the information that Nino has only shows a part of the whole, right? There's other aspects of things that make things very strange, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Cassie was broken out by Lang and co. But one could assume that, oh my god, we didn't actually unpeel that entire onion. CJ came to Nino in an attempt to like ascertain an attempt to like ascertain, what was it? There was the, do I still have it? Okay, now this is getting strange. Let's peel an onion. You with me? When did she, how did she send this? Give me a second while I pull it up, and then we'll go from there. Or did Sab send it? When they were under investigation a month ago, Charlie contacted Nino to ask about this, but okay, let's run it back. Charlie gave us a document. Sab gave us a document. Both of those documents are different. But the whole reason for that thing was getting legal information as to what was I going to say? As to how they were not gonna get caught or something. I don't even remember exactly. I think it's because they were questioning if this was a valid, like, phone subpoena. Was it fucky, whatever? Did they have any info? And Nino said yes, because even though some of this warrant's a little strange, whatever. But so I'm gonna tell you where I'm now a little cooked in the brain. The narrative is that Lang was shot because of what happened to Cassie by the lifers. Holy fuck, the Faceless is telling the truth. It actually seems extremely reasonable. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, hear me out. 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 Cassie was broken out. Right? She was broken out by CJ and Sab and possibly others. Lang noted some bits of this to Nino at Parsons. So we know for certain they broke him out, right? And now Lang kills her. God knows why. The lifers reasonably
better than most people's normal.
Wanted Lang dead because he's admitting that he killed Cassie. We don't know why Cassie was broken out. We don't know the why, right? We just know that she was. So if all the lifers were trying to kill Lang, and we also know this to be true because, like, Sab and company told me they fucking, or CJ told us, and Sab did as well, that they went in to, you know, like they shot Lang, they went inside, it was a fucking whole thing. So it's literally all the lifers wanted to kill Lang. What do? They could kill him. It actually makes sense that the Faceless would have their asset shoot him in the legs. You with me? So while I was sitting here and I was saying, like, do we trust them? Do we not trust them? Etc., etc., etc. That story, that what the Faceless told Nino actually makes a lot of fucking sense. Because how you doing, Barrett?
Hey, doing all right. I cooked out my fucking mind.
We gotta have this conversation later, just because like I'm in a brain trance right now, trying to like.
Yeah, no problem. I was just gonna pass on real quick. Just calculated the numbers: 389 Class 2s seized in the month of March.
Good
if you want a
shit.
breakdown, I can give you a full breakdown.
All right.
Good number. Good number.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. We'll chat more soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Fucking wonder no one's got anything because everyone's fucking using it for everything. 389? Are you fucking serious? I think the price of these things needs to just go up. Like, this is an unsustainable amount because all these fucking bozos are going to end up bleeding all the material runners, like, and then there's going to be nothing left. $389. That is fucking insane. That is actually fucking insane. There just is not enough. This is unsustainable. All right. How you doing?
What's good with your player?
Oh, people really fish. Okay. Okay. Let me go back. Cassie is broken out by them. Obviously, that's going to trigger the lifers. They all had weapons in there, but it was only the asset that did the shooting. Why would the asset be shooting Lang? If not, so it looks like it was to put him into infirmary to get him moved. Because otherwise the implication is there's nothing that would the only alternative would be if Cassie was also an asset, but there's nothing that sort of like points at that really. I wonder if there's a medical report. Because a shotgun would literally murk somebody. It's not like it's a pistol and it's like bad aim. You don't accidentally shoot someone in the legs. It's just not possible. Like like unless you're like holding the gun down. Oh my god. Okay, this is fucking putting me in a tizzy. This is literally putting me in a tizzy right now. Is that, if that's even a word? At point blank, even at 10 feet, the spread would be all over. Exactly that. If the leg shot is true, then it is entirely makes sense. They did want him alive. I'm about to give you some, I'm about to give you an unlock. The Faceless was asking about CJ. That during that conversation. Their intention was to monitor. Which in turn, yeah, I haven't been well, it ties back to, was the phone call actually tapped or was she being followed? So I wasn't sure if it was time to like mention that. But I can now. No longer meta-guarded. I think it was meta-guarded for that short period of time, but I just got clarity. So Halasi, thank you for the 78 months.
Mehdi's fake, Mehdi's fake.
And Nino also asked, do you plan to hurt her? And they asked, what is she to you? And Nino pretty much said, well, listen, she, you know, she's close to Lang, and therefore you should, you know, like, for obvious reasons, I would not want her to get hurt. But they did ask, like, in a roundabout way, pretty much like, how do I don't know how to break it down, the means by which they asked that question, but the best way I can ask it, because the Faceless talks in, like, very just, like, open-ended statements, right? They ask very open-ended, like, they respond open-endedly, but they also ask questions sort of open-endedly, so you don't exactly understand. You kind of have to, you don't really know the intention of the questions or the statements, but what I can tell you is what was being asked indirectly is, what was being asked indirectly was, would you be mad if we did something, right? Or like, what is your interest, right? That sort of thing, which actually goes and ties back to that plane was not, they were looking for her, I think. And maybe that's why the plane was there. But the crazy thing, Zhang, thank you for the 6 months.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. You know, the great thing about this all, chat, is like how cooked I was. So like, I don't even fucking remember like, it's not that I don't remember. It's like some of it is question marks. Um, but when I break this down in my mind, I don't necessarily think the Faceless are lying. I think their story actually makes a lot of sense. Because at the end of the day, to kind of like break down like fact from fiction.
Hello?
How you doing?
How you doing?
To break down fact from fiction when it's not necessarily clear, right? Is like, what can you rely on? You can really only rely on, number one,
Mehdi, arise.
oh, fuck me in the ass, dude. These fucking broken ass. Trash can. Fucking trash bags, bro. I picked that up to clean shit, and now I got it stuck in my hand. I'm gonna start shooting. Let me just relog. Scarg, thank you for the 11 months. I'm trying to piece this out. I think I need to sit back and actually write all this shit down. I'm gonna be honest. So to run it back, right? To run it back, if the Faceless wanted him dead, he'd be dead. The fact that he was only shot in the legs in and of itself is a... how do you break that aspect? Like, you know what I'm saying? If they wanted him dead, they would have... But they said not for now. When asked, do you plan to hurt him? They said no. At least not yet. But at least not yet. Literally, a talk about fucking open-ended could literally mean two things. One is, oh, we're planning to kill him. But it can also mean like, well, there's not really a reason to do so. Right? But it also drives in the direction that maybe Lang's been fucking with the Faceless. But there's also another aspect is that a lot of Lang historically, Nino knows this, has been a paranoid ass motherfucker, right? You know, Nino has paranoia too, but you know, but a different kind. And so there is entirely the realm of things happening that have affected what the Faceless is trying to do, and it sort of like generated an enemy that would not have otherwise been there. That makes sense? What I mean by that?